Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. I'm going to be talking about some interesting stories today about the Black Sea and how that connects to everything. The Black Sea effect, similar to the butterfly effect. That's the play on words I was going for with the title. We'll see how that plays and how many clicks that gets. Who knows how clicks work these days on the YouTube, and now I'm exploring other options as well. But for today, I'm going to talk about supply chain. I'm going to talk about the Ukraine. Talk about Russia, and bring it all home to crypto as well. And we'll talk about Africa. We'll talk about food. Lots of things to talk about as we click over on the calendar to November. There's lots of concerns for people, especially next week. Lots of things going on in the United States next Tuesday, as we know. Lots of change probably coming. We'll see how it all plays out. But I'm interested to see what your concerns are. What is your number one concern for the month of November? Leave it in the comment below. And also remember that for my Patreons, those who are subscribed for 1 AMA a month and those subscribed for 2, both those groups are going to be on the AMA tomorrow night. That's the first time we're doing the unified AMA pattern. Works well with November because we have a holiday coming up and Thanksgiving, and there's going to be special videos coming out for that. So stay tuned for that as I talk about economics and world events in addition to cryptocurrency and financial stuff on this channel. Not financial advice, of course, but I'm just sharing my thoughts as things I learn and things I see on the different videos I watch on the internet. Speaking of which, I saw a very interesting video last night. Let me share my screen, and I wanted to talk about how this impacts all the things I touched on. And I'm going to try and keep this around 10 minutes. I'd like to get your feedback, see your comments below, which I read every one. I'm going to try and keep this to around 10 minutes or so. That's the sweet spot I like to keep in for attention span, making sure I have a nice, succinct, tight message so I don't just ramble on for 30 minutes to an hour. Let's just see how that works. And I would love to get your feedback. Do you like that kind of time frame for videos? Let me know in the comments. It really helps me to gauge what I should do next on this channel and other channels and delivery methods that I use, such as AMAs and future videos. So let's dive into the video that I watched yesterday. So let me share my screen. And that's this button right here. So there we go. So this is Joe. This is a channel I get from time to time. And he had a really good video yesterday. It was around 20 minutes long. And it was talking about Russia and the global chaos and everything going on. That's like lots of deals are closing out in November. We know that the U.S. is running out of their petroleum reserves. We know that much is going on. There's other deals that have been struck over the course of 2022 that are expiring. One of which is a deal for transport of food out of the Ukraine through the Black Sea. And we're going to show that. And Joe talks about that a lot. But first, he sets the table. Then we go through a couple of different excerpts of the video. I'm not going to watch all 20 minutes, but we're going to give proper respect and proper accolades and mentions attributions to Joe in his video. But let me grab a few different excerpts and stills from the video. First off, this is a video that I did talking about the Ukraine. I had to go all the way back to February 24th to find this video. And that is a corn and crypto, everything is connected. So I did this back 8 months ago. But Joe, he's got a lot more viewers, a lot more touch, and I really like this video. This is some of the summary that he presented. First off, the Ukraine, huge for the breadbasket of the world. Okay, they make number 2 in the world for barley, number 4 for corn, number 1 for sunflower oil, number 3 for rapeseed oil, which goes into canola oil, and number 3 for wheat. So they're like the top 4 producer for most of the grains and oils that are used in the world, especially for those that are not as affluent, the people that are poorer that need to buy like the canola oil or the wheat or the tortillas and the corn and the sunflower oil. All these things are used in a lot of consumable foods and goods, a lot of groceries for a lot of people around the country, or a lot around the world, excuse me. So the Ukraine breadbasket is a big deal. And as I pointed out in my previous video, they were number 6 in the world for corn, and it's even bigger now. And just looking at the graph that Joe shared, you can see the Ukraine over the 20-year span, not only did you go up significantly in corn and wheat, but they went up by 10x in corn production in the last 20 years. They were below 5 million tons, and now they're over, they're basically 4 million tons, and now they're over 40. So you can see how big of a producer that they are in corn and wheat. So moving further into this video, Joe does a good job of breaking down the map of Ukraine through regions and seeing which ones are producing the most wheat, and also let's see, I think he did some with others, the other 5: barley, wheat, corn, and so on, and the oils. And the ones on the right are the ones that are the most in under duress, I'll say, through the Russian actions. This is the Donbass region. So that area, which is a larger producer of all of these foods, significant amount of grain and corn and wheat production that are not in that area that are going to have trouble getting out for export. But the bigger deal is that, well, first off, wheat, the price of wheat has gone up since 2020, has gone up about 50. It's doubled. Same thing for corn. If they zoom out, and I think I had to zoom out a little bit further. Let's see. Hopefully that comes up shortly. But corn basically doubled as well. And if for some reason it's not coming up nicely, of course not. Well, you have to trust my word for it that the graph looks similar to the wheat one. Hopefully it refreshes. There we go. Corn, 2 year. You can see it was around 300, and now it's over 600 in just the space of 2 years. So wheat and corn cost on a global viewpoint has more than doubled. So the fact that we're having trouble getting wheat and corn out of the Ukraine area is a problem, not just because of the Ukraine issue for supply chain, but the global cost has more than doubled for both of these both these grain products. So it's going to be big on food costs for a lot of people around the globe. Now, there was a deal between Russia and Turkey in the Ukraine. I'm going to show a map here. So let's see. I think I can zoom this. I don't know. That's the wrong way. Anyway, so you can see here's the Black Sea. Okay, the Black Sea is right here. Hopefully is that big enough? Editing is not going to be a strength of mine today. So the Black Sea, you can see the Black Sea. It's over here on the right. This is Russia. Up here on the northern part is Ukraine. And the southern part is Turkey. There we go. There's a bigger picture. So again, Ukraine, Russia, Turkey. Now, there was a deal struck, whatever the right word is in grammar land these days. Turkey brokered a deal, excuse me, between Ukraine and Russia when the conflict started back in February, March timeframe. This is for about 6 months or so. Turkey was going to allow the Ukraine, even though there was conflict throughout the Black Sea and with Russia, they were going to allow the Ukrainian ports on the west side of the country to get out through the Bosphorus Strait and out into past Greece and into the Mediterranean Sea to get exports out to the rest of Europe. That is now, so that was a deal that Turkey brokered, a treaty or an arrangement that they had. Okay, now hopefully that's fixed. So Turkey had a deal working out with Ukraine and Russia. So where Turkey and Russia working out the deal, Ukraine could get their crops out. They could ship things through the Black Sea. Now that Russia has backed out of the deal, okay, so that's what what part of the video said. Russia exits the deal. They're no longer providing for safe transport of goods through the entire Black Sea, which means that the Black Sea is now an area of conflict. So the Ukraine sailing cargo ships from anywhere in Ukraine out through the Black Sea, out to the Mediterranean, that's going to be potential area of conflict because the Russian Navy could come after them. That's what they're saying. That's what they're claiming. So basically, that Russia pulling out of that deal means the Ukraine is going to have problems shipping their food. What does that mean on a global perspective? Well, Joe goes a step further. He says in 2022, there's a global report on food crises and what countries could be at risk, or how big is the world at risk for food shortages. This graphic right here shows that there were 45 countries and over 175 million people at risk for food availability in 2021. That's going up at least 30% in 2022. Actually, it says 17% increase, but you can see it's a significant increase. Almost 30 more million people with food at risk. The areas at risk at the most, Africa, and in particular, Nigeria is number one, with the rest of Africa. And this is where I tie it into cryptocurrency, back to economic regions. It's interesting that Nigeria is the number one that's listed on this because if you look at Bitcoin adoption, Africa is one of the highest adoption rate continents around. And if you dig further by country, Nigeria is the current leading country in cryptocurrency trading in Africa's ecosystem. That was as of, I believe, September. Yeah, it is September 6th. So just a month and a half ago. So that's always been the leader in the clubhouse for Africa is the country of Nigeria. The other one that's also at the risk for most food. You could let me drop out of sharing my screen. Make sure my throat is good and clear and just summarize things now. So we've got like, this is the Black Sea effect, the butterfly effect. The fact that there's a conflict in the region of the Black Sea means that Ukraine is not only having trouble producing food, but also exporting it through the Black Sea. And the arrangement they had with Turkey and Russia is now no longer in place, which means the breadbasket of Asia, the Ukraine, can't get their food out, which makes Africa and other countries at risk for food, which goes back to the economic impact of those countries. And that's one of the reasons that Nigeria was looking at cryptocurrency so much. So that kind of ties it all together. Hopefully you like that story, and you can see how big of an effect and why, even as a crypto person, you wind up being a global economist very quickly by looking at how things all tie together. So I'd love to hear your feedback on this story. I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm going to leave it there for today and tonight. Tomorrow will be another video, will be another AMA, and we'll be talking there for more, maybe expanding upon this, but I'd love to see your comments. Leave some feedback below. But for all that said, I'm going to close the drawer in the bureau, say file leader one more time, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.